station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
Houston ACR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Houston ACR. How do you hear me?
Houston ACR, our station has you loud and clear. How us?
Sound great. Please stand by for opening remarks.
Hello and welcome. My name is Kate Neff, and I'm the Virtual Programs Coordinator for the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. We're thrilled to have you joining us today as we connect live with the International Space Station. The cosmos has long inspired humankind, and today, the chance to speak to astronauts living hundreds of miles above Earth's surface is just a further testament to how far human knowledge and science has come. In preparation for today's program, we had students and potential future astronauts from across Colorado pose questions for the scientists aboard the space station. In a matter of minutes, these questions will be answered live. And so, without further ado, we would like to thank NASA for this incredible and unique opportunity and turn the program over to them and, of course, the International Space Station.
My name is Anais, and how do you become an astronaut?
Thank you for that question, and I just want to say at the very beginning here how delighted that Jessica and I are to join you all at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and we thank you for this opportunity. How do you become an astronaut? I think the bottom line, it requires hard work, but if you are a pilot, you need to have 1,000 hours of flying time in high-performance aircraft, and many of our pilots come from the military, from the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps. And then if you are a mission specialist like Jessica and I, you need to have an advanced degree. You need to study extra hard, and that degree needs to be in the areas of science, technology, engineering, or math. Jessica is a geologist. I'm a physician, and we both, it's an extreme honor and privilege to get to serve our country in the capacity as an astronaut.
Hi, my name is Annabelle. Where does your water come from?
Yeah, great question. So we have amazing technology on board the International Space Station, which we actually are able to apply on the Earth as well, and will be using in the future as we explore further and further into the solar system. But that technology allows us to use the moisture that's in the air and from our bodies and recycle that water and turn it into drinking water. And so we are at the point where we are able to recycle about 95% of the water that we produce here on station, which is amazing and is going to be super helpful for us when we start going out to the moon and eventually to Mars, where we won't be able to resupply with water from Earth as easily. And so it's a really important technology to be able to create drinking water. And so we end up, at the end of the day, we end up with water that can go into a drinking bag like the one that Kjell is showing you here and create water for us to drink. It's delicious.
My question is, how do you sleep in space?
So I'm still recovering from the water question. How do you sleep in space? Well, the easy answer, I think, for me is really, really well. And we sleep in sleeping bags. Our sleeping bags are in our crew quarters, which are actually just behind us here. And I have my sleeping bag just tethered to the crew quarters with one cord, and when I get into it, I will get into my sleeping bag, and then I'll just float around in my sleeping bag inside my crew quarters. And for me, it's like sleeping on a cloud.
I'm Addie, and my question is, what is your favorite thing about being in space?
That is a tough question because being in space is awesome, and so I actually have two answers. My first favorite thing about being in space is getting to see the Earth. So getting to look out our window and see the Earth rotating beneath us, getting to see everyone we know, everywhere we've ever been, and we get to see that 16 times a day. So the Earth rotates. We get to see 16 sunrises and sunsets every 90 minutes up here from the International Space Station. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And my second favorite part about being in space is getting to be up here with my friends. We have amazing crewmates. There are 4 of us here on Crew 4, Kjell, myself, Samantha Cristoforetti, who's working hard behind us, and Bob Hines, who is working hard over here. And so getting to work with them as well as our Russian colleagues is just an absolute honor and privilege.
Hi, my name is Gabe, and my question is, what does it smell like in space?
Hey, Gabe, that's a great question. And this is my second mission, and when I got back to the space station, it smelled just like I remembered it, and that is the smell of space. So once we have a vehicle, a spacecraft that is docked with the space station and has just been exposed to outside, or when we bring a spacewalker back into the space station, it has this kind of a burnt metal smell. And so every time we open a hatch and are welcoming a new spacecraft, you smell that smell, and that has a very distinct smell, and I've never really smelled it back on the Earth. And so it was really cool to get back here to the space station and to experience that smell again.
Hi, my name is Ibrahim, and my question is, what if debris damaged the space station?
That's a really good question, and actually there is a whole team of people on the ground who are fully focused on the answer to that question and really to avoiding that scenario and keeping us safe up here on this International Space Station. So that team is looking out for any pieces of debris or any particles, satellites, anything in space that might have a similar trajectory that would intersect with our trajectory up here on the ISS. And if that looks like that might be happening, then there are several things that we can do. The main one being that we can just change where we are. So we can change our orbit, and that way that deconflicts us from anything that might be on a similar pathway so that we don't end up colliding. So we are super grateful, super reliant on a whole team of people that keep us safe and productive and happy up here.
My name is Dara, and my question is, what would happen if your tether broke on a spacewalk?
It's a really good question. We have to be very careful when we're doing spacewalks, and so we spend hundreds of hours practicing spacewalks in the neutral buoyancy laboratory back in Houston. And that's we learn how to be very careful about using those tethers. And so hopefully what would happen is that we'd be holding onto a handrail, and we would notice that tether broke, and so we would stop using that and start using a different one. If for some reason we were not holding onto the space station at the time and our tether broke, we have another tether called the safety tether that is holding us to the space station. If both of those tethers are broken, we have one last safeguard, and that is that we have a jetpack on the back of our spacesuit called the Safer. And this is essentially cold gas jets that we have a controller to fly ourselves back to the space station, and we actually practice doing that using virtual reality back at Johnson Space Center. We have great trainers on the Earth that prepare us for all of those possibilities, and so we're very grateful for that training.
Can you show us a backflip in space?
We're glad you asked. You got a double out of Kjell.
Hi, my name is Allison, and my question is, what do they eat in space?
Allison, food is incredibly important. not only on the ground, but up here in space as well. Of course, we are all taught and we know that we need to eat a balanced diet that includes protein and vegetables. And so our food comes in two different ways up here. One is it's sealed in this kind of a greenish aluminum envelope. All of our food is pre-cooked. And so this is food that has been cooked on the earth and then sealed in this envelope to keep it fresh. And when we're ready to eat, we stick it into a food warmer and it warms up. The other type of food is dehydrated food. And so here are some veggies that have been rehydrated. These are asparagus. And so that'll be for dinner tonight. And those are kind of fun things. Those are things that we need to eat to stay healthy. And then every once in a while, it's okay to have a little bit of a treat. And so here we have some candy-coated chocolate peanuts, and we really like these. Uh-oh.
Drink it.
Got it. One more. And we like to have fun with those. They're tasty and fun.
Hello, my name is Bryce, and how does it feel before you take off?
Yeah, that is a super exciting, super fun, super overwhelming moment, sitting on the launch pad, getting ready to finally launch. So we have years of training prior to a mission like this. When we first joined the astronaut corps, we have 2 years of essentially basic training where we get introduced to all of space station systems, robotics, and learning how to fly jets as well. And then when we learn that we are going to be on to a mission, we have specific training for that mission as well, and that can be anywhere from 1 to 2 years. And so when we're finally sitting on the launch pad in our seats ready to go, after all of that training, all of that build-up, it is just super exciting to have that culmination of a dream that's been, for me personally, something that I've dreamed about for a very long time. And then also the excitement of knowing that it is just the beginning, that it is a launch into a up to the International Space Station, and that the adventures that we're going to have up here. So it is a very, very exciting moment having all of that come together at once.
My name is Luca, and my question is, how do astronauts walk in space?
Luca, that's a really interesting question. And we learned to, when we say walk in space, of course, spacewalk, that very specifically means putting on our big white spacesuit and going outside of the space station. But we have to get around inside the space station as well. And to do that, we can use our hands and our feet. And so you can see these blue handrails. We grab onto those to move around, and those are on the floor too, and that's actually, we have our feet tucked under handrails to keep ourselves in place, and so we can push off of those, we can pull on these, and so when you first get into weightlessness, you first get on the space station, you're kind of clumsy, and you propel yourself, and you run into things, and you knock things off the wall. But after you've been up here a while, you become very efficient at moving around, and you can get from one place to another just by grabbing 1 or 2 handrails and turning yourself and rolling and doing a flip and ending up right where you want to be. And it's really, really cool.
Hi, my name is Camilla, and my question is, have you ever dropped or lost something in space?
The answer to that question is absolutely. Almost every day, I lose something in space. It is really quite different up here to keep track of everything. So when we are working on a task and we have several tools and materials that we are working with, it can be really difficult to keep them all in your vision. We can let go of things like this microphone, and it will generally stay where you put it. But after some period of time, the air current in the space station will pick it up and take it away. And if you are not paying attention and you turn around, it can be gone forever. So we spend quite a bit of time looking for lost items, but they always show up.
My name is Sean, and my question is, what game do you play on the International Space Station?
Well, one of the games we frequently play is I Spy when we're looking for stuff that Waddy has lost. Actually, there are a lot of things that we like to do in our free time on the space station, but I think most of all, we love looking out the windows, looking back at the Earth, and we love hanging out with each other. So those are the two things that we probably spend most of our time on. We have a voice over internet protocol phone through our computers so that we can call our family and friends back on the ground, and we really enjoy talking with them and catching up with what's going on the ground. But we also have an assortment of various sports equipment up here, mostly just to kind of have fun with, but every once in a while it's really fun to see stuff and how it behaves in space, things that we're very familiar with. Jessica is a rugby player and played on the U.S. national team, and so it's fun. I know it's fun for her to have a rugby ball up here and see how it behaves in weightlessness.
Hi, my name is John, and my question is, how do you guys deal with the gravity on the International Space Station?
Yeah, so microgravity is actually one of the most fun aspects of being up here, but it definitely takes some adjusting. As Kjell mentioned, when we first arrive, your body is trying to figure out how to work, how to think, how to move around in microgravity, and how to use the full 3D, the full volume of the space here on the ISS. And it's amazing to see actually how quickly that happens. It really is just in the first couple of weeks where your body really starts to figure it out, and your brain starts to map out the station in all different orientations, and it really becomes quite easy to maneuver around and work in this space. So it's been pretty awesome to see that happen.
My question is, what kind of exercise do you do?
Exercise is incredibly important, not only on the Earth, but here on the space station as well. So when we're on the Earth, we try to exercise every day. It's important for our muscles, for our bones, for our hearts, and it's even more important on the space station because being here in weightlessness, while it's fun, it's actually very hard on the human body. The human body adapts to it, and it's as if, because we float, because we don't have to fight against gravity, it's as if we were just laying in bed for 6 months straight. And of course, our bodies would become very weak if we did that back on the Earth. And so here in space, we have to do exercises to keep our bones strong, our muscles strong, and our hearts working well. And so we have an exercise bike and a treadmill for cardiovascular, for an aerobic workout. And we have essentially a weightlifting machine, a resistance exercise device that can provide up to 600 pounds of resistance to keep our muscles and our bones strong. And so we work out about 2 hours every day. And by doing that, we are healthy and strong when we return back to the Earth.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. My question is, how long does it take for your body to recover when you come back to Earth?
So I think it really depends on the individual person. For my last mission, let's just say there are a bunch of different things going on when you get back to the Earth. And for one thing, your inner ear that helps you with balance, you feel a little dizzy. Your inner ear is a little messed up. The vestibular part of your brain is a little messed up because now it's sensing gravity again. And that takes about 2 weeks to go back to normal. Our muscles, our bones, our bodies are not used to gravity. And so for me, holding my big head up on my neck has not had to do that for 6 months. And so when we get back to the Earth, your neck is sore, your low back is sore, your feet are sore because, again, they're not used to holding your body up. That all gets better in about 30 days. So in about a month after you get home, you're feeling pretty much back to normal.
We at the museum would once again like to thank NASA and the astronauts aboard the International Space Station for making today's program possible. We would also like to thank the audience joining us, as well as all the students and families involved in filming prior to this program. May you continue to find inspiration in space, science, and learning. We look forward to seeing what comes next for humankind in space exploration and hope some of you will be the astronauts making that happen.
And we would just like to say thank you to all of you, our friends at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, to Kate and Jessica and everyone who helped put this together. Thank you to the parents, and especially thank you to the students. We hope that you had fun. We certainly did, and we look forward to you continuing to explore there at the museum, but also on your own, reading about science, technology, engineering, and math, reading about spaceflight. And we hope that some of you will come and join us and explore with us at NASA someday.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.